If you've been patiently waiting for the Samsung Galaxy S27, hoping this is finally the year the vanilla Galaxy model gets a real upgrade, you might want to lower your expectations. Because according to the latest Galaxy S27 leaks and rumors, Samsung may be planning yet another year of tiny, almost unnoticeable changes for its base flagship, while saving the real improvements for the Galaxy S27 Ultra and the rumored Galaxy S27 Pro. So, what's going on here? And why does it feel like Samsung is ignoring exactly what most users actually want from a new phone? Let's break it down. Samsung Galaxy S27, another year of minimal upgrades? Right now, leaks suggest that the standard Samsung Galaxy S27 will look and feel very familiar if you've seen or used the Galaxy S26. The rumored story goes like this. The display, expected to be almost identical to the Galaxy S26 in size, resolution, and refresh rate. The battery, likely the same capacity as last year, with no meaningful jump in battery life. The camera system, reportedly sticking with a very similar setup, with no major sensor or hardware upgrade for yet another generation. If that happens, the Galaxy S27 would effectively become the 6th generation in a row of Samsung's base flagship, using largely the same camera specs, only getting minor tweaks and software polishing along the way. In other words, new name, new box, slightly faster chip. But the same old experience where it matters most for everyday users. What people actually want from the Galaxy S27. Here's the interesting part. This rumored strategy is almost the exact opposite of what most people say they want from Samsung's vanilla flagship. In a recent poll about the Galaxy S27, users were asked a simple question. What upgrade would actually make you choose the Galaxy S27? The results were crystal clear. The number one request from just under half of voters was better battery life. People are tired of constantly charging their phones, especially when they're paying flagship prices. The second most popular request, from over a quarter of respondents, was a significantly better camera, not a tiny software tweak, but a real noticeable hardware improvement. Put together, more than 2/3 of people said they would consider buying the Galaxy S27 if Samsung just focused on the basics, a stronger battery and a more capable camera. These are not flashy, experimental features. These aren't niche specs. These are the two things almost everyone uses every single day. Yet according to leaks, those are the very areas where Samsung may once again refuse to truly move the needle on the standard Galaxy S27. What about the rest? Display, chipset, and memory. The poll also showed that a small percentage of users would prioritize an even better display on the Galaxy S27. Another group would be satisfied with a newer, faster chipset and more RAM. Those answers show something important. Samsung is already doing a lot of things right with its flagship phones. The display quality is already top tier. Performance is already more than enough for most people. But good enough doesn't justify a yearly upgrade, especially in a market where phones last longer and software support keeps improving. And that's why battery and camera keep coming back as the key pain points. They're the easiest to notice in real-world use and the quickest to disappoint if they don't improve. Is Samsung pushing you toward the Galaxy S27 Ultra? Now let's talk strategy, because there's a bigger pattern here. One very logical theory is that Samsung is intentionally holding back major upgrades on the cheaper models, like the Galaxy S27, in order to gently push more buyers toward its most expensive flagship, the Galaxy S27 Ultra. And when you look at user behavior, that theory suddenly doesn't sound so crazy. In that same poll, nearly 1 out of 5 people said that no improvement to the base Galaxy S27 would convince them to buy it, simply because they were already planning to go for the Galaxy S27 Ultra. If you're Samsung, that's an ideal scenario. You build a good enough vanilla flagship that looks premium and carries the Galaxy S name. You then reserve the real camera and battery upgrades for the Ultra model, which has a much higher profit margin. Over time, more and more people who care about meaningful upgrades move from the base S series to the Ultra line. Even if the S27 Ultra itself only gets small year-over-year changes, it still looks like a far bigger upgrade compared to the vanilla Galaxy S27. From a business point of view, that's a classic long-term upsell strategy. From a user point of view, especially if you prefer smaller or more affordable phones, It can feel like you're being punished for not buying the most expensive model. When annual upgrade just means skip a few years. There's another side to this as well. If both the vanilla Galaxy S27 and the Galaxy S27 Ultra only get incremental updates, upgrading every year stops making sense for almost everyone, but upgrading every 2, 3, or even 4 years? That's where Samsung's strategy can still work. You might go from a Galaxy S24 or S25 straight to a Galaxy S27 Ultra, or from a vanilla S26 directly to a higher-end S28 or S29. That means fewer upgrades, but more expensive ones when you finally decide to move, which, once again, fits perfectly into a slow but steady upselling pattern. In short, if you're waiting for a dramatic leap from the S26 to the S27, especially for the base model, the leaks strongly suggest you'll be disappointed. Why 2026 might be the year of price over performance. There's also a broader industry problem hanging over all of this: rising memory and component costs. With RAM, storage, and other critical components getting more expensive, smartphone makers are under pressure. To keep prices from shooting up too aggressively, something else has to give. Often, that something is slower hardware evolution, recycled designs, reusing older camera sensors for multiple years, minimal battery capacity changes. In that context, Samsung might be betting that people are more willing than ever to accept compromise on upgrades if it helps keep the price of the Galaxy S27 under control. And frankly, they might be right, to a point. Many buyers will choose a slightly boring upgrade over a painful price hike. But there's still one thing that feels hard to justify. If you're not dramatically improving the display or camera, and you're not dropping the price, why not at least bump the battery? A modest increase in battery capacity would be one of the easiest and most universally appreciated changes Samsung could make to the Galaxy S27. You don't need AI. You don't need fancy marketing. You just give people a phone that lasts longer. Yet so far, leaks suggest even that may not happen. So, should you still care about the Galaxy S27? Here's the bottom line. If the current leaks and rumors about the Samsung Galaxy S27 turn out to be accurate, expect a refined, polished version of the Galaxy S26. Rather than a true next generation leap, don't expect a big battery upgrade or a major camera overhaul on the vanilla model. Do expect Samsung to continue steering serious enthusiasts toward the Galaxy S27 Ultra and possibly the Galaxy S27 Pro, where the more exciting improvements are rumored to be. If you're still using an older phone, something like a Galaxy S21, S22, or equivalent, the Galaxy S27 will likely still be a very capable, fast, and premium device. But if you already own a recent Galaxy S series phone, especially the S25 or S26, the S27 may not give you enough reason to upgrade, unless you jump straight to the Ultra. As the smartphone market slows and prices keep rising, the era of upgrade every year for something exciting is fading away. For many users, the smarter move will be to wait longer, then upgrade bigger. And that's exactly the behavior a strategy like this seems designed to encourage. The only real wild card now? Whether Samsung surprises everyone and finally gives the vanilla Galaxy S27 the one upgrade people have been begging for, a genuinely better battery and a truly improved camera. Until then, the Galaxy S27 leak story sounds less like a revolution and more like another quiet, cautious step in a long-term plan to turn more buyers into Ultra owners.